And I'm always trying to be very careful when I do this. Anytime I talk about a member of the media, because a lot of times my show's not really big enough, I'll be totally transparent, for grifters to aggregate what I say out of context. I'm sure once I get to that level, that will be the case, because that's how Twitter runs today. So I want to say this in the front end. In terms of the road that he took to get where he is at, particularly how he's expanded his personal empire, a lot of respect for Stephen A. Smith. You don't get there by being lazy. Matter of fact, you get there by being one of the hardest working individuals in the business. So the road Stephen A. took to get here, mad love and respect. His takes sometimes, though, are devoid of context and are confusing at best. So he said this on First Take the other day when he was talking about the NBA All-Star Game and how Adam Silver announced the other day how he was going to transition from Team USA versus the world. For the record, been begging for the NBA to do that for years. So I'm glad that they're going to finally institute it, even if the world may actually kick our behinds this year in the All-Star Game. But nonetheless, Stephen A., quote, "If this doesn't work, I think you're going to see the NBA do away with All-Star Weekend. And this era of players will forever be stained for the rest of their lives because All-Star Weekend was banished because of a lack of effort." End quote. Kevin Durant retweeted this. It was a tweet from Legion Hoops quoting Stephen A. And Kevin Durant retweeted it just with one word: dramatic. Listen, KD's a great follow on social media. I think we all know that by this point. Here's what I have trouble with. Is that the greatest league in the world, certainly most popular by a country mile, we know is the National Football League. Do we not remember what we were saying about the Pro Bowl until they finally canceled it? I mean, flag football would look better than this. Like, they actually transitioned to flag football, I think, last year. They actually, when I was in Orlando for the college program, that's where they have the Pro Bowl right now at Camping World Stadium. And they had the flag football game this year. And, Disney was offering a package to where some of us could go, and I was like, I don't know. I don't want to see. And I ended up watching clips online. It was bad. I'm glad I did not attend that. But do we not remember what we were saying about the Pro Bowl right before they canceled it? We don't want them to be playing like it's the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl, but could it be a little bit more than two-hand touch from the greatest athletes in the world playing the NFL? Right? Could there be a little bit of situation where, a Patrick Mahomes or an Aaron Rodgers, or going back a decade plus ago, like an Andrew Luck, are being forced out of the pocket, being forced to make tough throws down the field, and getting 55 to 60% of what we tend to get from these guys in the regular season, and see why they were Pro Bowlers? Speaking of that, the guys that were Pro Bowlers, good enough to be Pro Bowlers. Do we not remember the time when, really recently, where Tyler Huntley, Mac Jones were Pro Bowlers? We do remember, because all these guys were pulling out either due to injuries or due to them making the Super Bowl, whatever the case may be. Guys were saying, yeah, hell with this. This is no fun. I'm not going to be a part of the Pro Bowl. And so, Drake May, who has a bright future. Drake May was a Pro Bowler this year. Drake May was the third or fourth best rookie quarterback. Far and away the worst quarterback in his division. He'll get better. I love Drake May, but he was a rookie. He's a rookie in bad circumstances. He was a Pro Bowler last year in the AFC, where they have all the great quarterbacks. We don't remember that the Pro Bowl just devolved into an unwatchable product as of late. And so the NFL said, okay, we're just going to get rid of the Pro Bowl. Nobody's saying, oh, you know what? That's a stain on Patrick Mahomes' legacy. That is, Myles Garrett, are you kidding me? Did you not? TJ Watt, you didn't try hard enough. These offensive linemen, oh, you were lazy, and the coaches didn't care about it, and Justin Jefferson wasn't running hard enough on his route to the Pro Bowl, and their legacy is tainted forever because the Pro Bowl, as it once was, no longer exists. No, we don't do that. We say, Pro Bowl kind of sucks. Especially now, it's not even a full-fledged flag football game. I used to referee flag football. Them guys and gals went out there a lot harder than the guys do at the Pro Bowl, which I'm not even faulting the guys for. It's the reality. You're not trying to jeopardize, your future, and particularly your wallet, for a game that means absolutely positively nothing. So, and that's why I've defended the NBA players by the way, over the last couple of years. We don't say it impacts the legacies of NFL players, that the Pro Bowl is quite literally dead. Nobody watches the Pro Bowl. We focus on the regular season, which obviously the NFL is the best regular season because there's only 17 games. So there's more of a sense of urgency. Every single game matters. And in the playoffs, it's like after the AFC title game, the week leading up to Super Bowl, you got Pro Bowl. Okay, you got the dodgeball, and it's kind of cheesy. Again, nobody watches. It's not terribly entertaining. We don't say, man, these spoiled rich NFL players, they just, I mean, back in the day, man, Brett Favre was going at it, and God rest his soul, the late great Sean Taylor nailed a punter. Remember that in that that Pro Bowl about 20 years ago? We don't do that. So I'm supposed to think less of Steph Curry, of LeBron James, of Kevin Durant, guys who have worked untold hours and still do to this day. KD at 36, Steph at 37, Bron at 40. Their whole lives. Bron is maybe the greatest player ever. Steph is undoubtedly the greatest shooter ever. KD is maybe the most gifted scorer ever. Worked their tails off to get to that point. And still to this day, still are chasing greatness. You saw what they did at Team USA last year. You saw KD hitting those clutch shots. You saw Bron getting everybody involved and doing what he had to do on the offensive defensive end. You saw what Steph Curry did against Serbia and in the fourth quarter against France. You don't get that way by being what Stephen A. appears to be implying, if not outright saying, hey, they're just lazy. They don't care enough about the game. Are you freaking kidding me? Really? That's what we're going to try and put out there? You wonder why the narrative surrounding the NBA persists, because the guys and gals with the biggest microphones continue to put out this nonsense as if the guys in the NBA don't care about the game anymore. Stop. This is on the front porch yelling at the kids, get off my lawn, whippersnapper. They don't do that in the NFL. They don't do it in baseball because baseball is far and away the best all-star game. Really the only good all-star game, if we're going to be honest. But it's entertaining. We don't do that for baseball. But for some reason, listen, maybe it all is as simple as pundits and journalists from a certain era will go out of their way, however dishonest, to validate, to protect the legacy of Michael Jordan. A lot of this is that. You saw the hate that LeBron has dealt with his entire career. I mean, man could go out there. Remember the 51 burger he had against the Warriors in the 2018 finals in game one? I mean, it's the biggest mismatch in a finals I've ever seen in my life. That 2018 finals, Golden State and Cleveland. As a Warriors fan, who I might as well have known we were going to win the championship at that point, Bron put the fear of God in me, bruh. Bron had Steph and KD, two of the greatest ever, with their heads like, man, he killing us. We ain't got no answer for this guy. And because J.R. Smith that made a boneheaded mistake, Bron didn't do enough. Why did Bron pass the ball to George? He dropped 49 in regulation. What do you want him to do? All to protect the legacy of Michael Jordan, which, I mean, it's why Jordan came out recently and was like, chill, guys. Like, the way the game moves forward, the way that the game has evolved for these players is because we've paved the way. And the way the game is going to continue to evolve is because they paved the way on the floor. And it's up to us, those of us that are not playing, to recognize their greatness, give credit where credit is due, and then pave the way for the next generation of basketball players. But if we just continue to just be stuck and stubborn, it's Jordan and bust. If this guy and Jordan, he's not that. They don't do it in the NFL. They don't do it in Major League Baseball. I'm not a hockey fan. I'm going to assume they don't do it in hockey. I mean, listen, again, I don't follow hockey at all. Wayne Gretzky, the great one, greatest hockey player ever, no doubt, obviously, from what I've read and what I've been told from hockey fans. When Ovechkin passed him on the all-time goals, as the all-time goals leader in NHL history, was beloved, was showered with praise. Gretzky it was great. And when Bron broke Kareem's record, now Kareem's not considered the GOAT. He should be in the conversation. I've said that for a long time. When Bron passes Kareem in the game in February of 2023, It was love and adulation that night. This is amazing. This kid from Akron is the all-time leading scorer. Look at the longevity. He's still scoring 36 points at whatever he was at that point, 38 years old. And then the next day, hey, still not Jordan. He can't score like Jordan did. It's so counterproductive, and it's, I mean, kudos to KD. Like, just one-word response. Dramatic. The Pro Bowl died at the hands of the current NFL players. We don't look at that as a knock on their legacies, but all in the protect the name of the great Michael Jordan, who, by the way, doesn't exactly need defending. I think Jordan's resume speaks for itself. Like, I think Bron's the GOAT, but it's close. I've always said those who think it's Bron by a mile or Jordan by a mile are intellectually dishonest. That's an absurd opinion to have. Regardless, Jordan does not need you to defend him. His legacy will do that for you. 6 championships, 6 finals MVPs, 5 regular season MVPs, 10-time scoring champion, all of it. He doesn't need you to trash the current generation of players to shine his legacy. So, respectfully to Stephen A. Smith, who's paved the way for a lot of folks in this business, and who I've immense respect for the road he took to get to where he got. This is absurd, and we've got to stop doing this as a media, as those covering basketball. It's counterproductive, and it's the reason I'm not saying this Pacers Thunder final was going to get a good number anyway. Maybe if the pervasive narratives that were surrounding the NBA weren't so much so, maybe it would get a better number. That's where I'm at. Yeah, Patrick, the media is to blame for MJ's coverage. This goes back to 89-90 when Jordan was the best player to ever do it before winning anything, discrediting what Kareem had accomplished. Yeah, I mean, listen, before Jordan had won his first championship in 1991, Kareem, to me, I wasn't alive for the time, but just going on where I have players ranked, Kareem was the runaway greatest player of all time. I've said this. Whoever you have, LeBron James, Michael Jordan. By the way, can I say this too? That's another thing that has got to calm down is, and I even talked about this. Shout out to Barry Grant Jr. He co-founded the Grid Network and is the host of the All Even podcast. I literally called into Barry's live show, which I never do under any circumstances, but I was so ticked off with what I've been seeing. This was about 3 months ago, so a few weeks before the playoffs started. And Steph Curry had like a big, it might have been when Steph Curry hit his 4,000th three. I think Steph had done something amazing. He had that stretch. Remember in like February and March when Jimmy Butler got there and Steph was just torching everybody. It's like, oh, the old Steph Curry's back. And the next day on First Take, it's Mad Dog, it's Stephen A. Again, guys I have respect for. But Stephen A. said, a player texted me. Steph Curry couldn't average 20 points a game in our because we would have beat him. I mean, guys, what are we doing? What are we doing? Which I've always said on the Steph discussion, that's code for we can't stop him, so we just would have hurt him. Which I think Steph would have been able to handle that. It's counterproductive. I mean, before the playoffs, who's greater, LeBron, Jordan? Boy, that's not the most overused take of all time or segment of all time. Listen, if it's July, if free agency's over and baseball's in their dog days of the season and training camp hasn't started yet, man, have at it. Do a whole show on LeBron versus Jordan because there's nothing to talk about. Let's keep it real at that point. Not during the playoffs. It's tired, it's frankly lazy, and it's counterproductive to the growth of the NBA. Folks say, oh, politics is why the NBA is not as popular or there's too many threes. No. This is what's hurting the NBA. This is what's hurting the National Basketball Association. Thanks so much for watching the show on YouTube, and be sure to go click that big red subscribe button and check out the other clips and full shows from Carving It Up Live, as well as our other incredible content creators here on the Grid Network.